Yeah. Who lost joy? That it needs to be found. Finding joy. Let's start with some questions. 3 questions and see which one of these fits for you. Would you consider yourself to be a joyful person? So sort of answer that for yourself. Would you consider yourself to be a happy person? Would you consider yourself to be a kind person? And perhaps one of those has more resonance for you than the others. For me, I, I don't consider myself to be a joyful person. Happy person, off and on, yeah. Kind, yes, that resonates for me. That's a grounded being I can stand in. But the others sort of come and go. Happy is easier to access. Joy, boy, I think that's an inside job for me at least. It arises, and I never know exactly where it's and when it's going to come. And it doesn't behave to my will. It's like, okay, we're all going to will ourselves to be happy. Come on, let's do it. It doesn't seem to work that way. But when something goofy happens and we're found rolling on the floor in laughter or something just happened that was funny, all of a sudden, joy is there. It wasn't there a moment ago, but now it's here. So we don't know quite how it arises. It's sort of like, how does laughter arise? It just does. Something tickles us in a certain way, and boom, there's laughter. And sometimes it's uncontrollable. We're just laughing. I was on the phone with a banker yesterday and feeling mischievous. And, you have to go through all of those. What's your mother's maiden name, date of birth, this and that. And when it got back to the mother's maiden name, and I had enough, they had asked way too many questions. And I said, my mother's name is Darth Vader. And the guy just broke up, just broke up. He just lost it over the phone. He thought that was the funniest thing ever. And it was so infectious that I started laughing, a genuine laugh. And it was just funny. And there it was. He had lost himself. I had lost myself in the moment over something that silly. So finding joy, joy finds us. It does. And it comes to tickle us to say, pay attention. The little stuff's important, really important, just the little stuff. But I don't know about you. I tend to get focused on things and serious, and things become very important, like getting to my destination on time and the traffic's in my way. Or something needs to be done and I'm frustrated because it's not getting done, or they can't handle this problem, or something isn't going my way. So my lack of control tends to squish me down. When I feel like I'm out of control, I tend to tighten, contract. And where does my joy? Is it possible for joy to bust through that concrete? I don't think so. So I think one of the biggest barriers to joy is seriousness. And the focus, when I focus in on something and become serious about it, I exclude other possibilities. And so I'm just not present to what's going on. So there's 2 things going on. There's that dance between doing, which is important, and being, which is also important. And how do we move gracefully between doing and being? Because there's time for focus. There's time when it's really important, but there's also time for being and relaxing and being at ease and letting the grass grow rather than demanding the grass grow. There's a big difference there. One brings tension, one can bring joy. When I'm in being mode, when I'm not focused in, I become softer, more childlike, more innocent. And in that space, joy can emerge easily. But when I'm focused, when I'm tense, when I'm serious, not so likely. So you can see that seriousness is probably the barrier, or that tight focus is probably the barrier for joy arising. Think of a child, and my friend Daryl has a niece right now who's like 9 months old, and he talks to me about it. How much fun he has playing with her. You know, the idea of peekaboo and, you know, how many fingers and just the little games. And some of those little games can bring little, Penny is her name, peals of laughter. She can get so excited over peekaboo or these silly little things, which then translates to my friend Daryl, and then he's in joy, they're in joy, and there's this dance of joy over nothing. But there it is. So what happens that joy emerges in my friend Daryl? He forgets himself. He is in the moment. He is playing. He is in the being mode. It's not serious, it's play. That should be a hint. So we have this ability, if we allow ourselves, and that's an allowing, is to move into a playful mode, a non-serious mode. But the problem is, we haven't really been taught. In fact, we've been punished for being joyful, for being too exuberant as children. Teachers do it. Don't run in the hallway. You're too noisy. Come on in. It's time. The recess is over. Get in here. Sit in your seats. Your parents, you're not going to wear that to school. No. You're going to have to study more, be more. And it goes on and on. And the biggest one that makes us serious is you've got to study really hard so that you can get into a good school, so that you can get in a good job, so that you can have a good partner, so that you can have a good life. And wait a minute. This is all, that's the carrot of the future. And what do we miss along the way when we're looking way out there for our happiness? Because it seems like the whole idea of being serious is so that we can get to happiness, that we can get to joy. So we're doing it backwards. Mm-hmm. I hope you can you get that nuance that we postpone joy now for joy in the future, is that we reach for something in the future. I will be happy when I complete my job and I get this promotion and I do this and I get my house redone and or my kitchen remodeled or whatever it is. It's always something in the way to experiencing now. And it's a habit. And it's only a habit. But the trick is waking up in the middle and seeing it. And that's how we break the trance. There was a seeker who came to the master, a very serious seeker. And the master said, "What are you looking for?" And he says, "Well, I'm looking for joy and for peace and for love." And the master says, "Okay, well, tell me something about yourself." And so the seeker went on to explain for about the next 15 minutes all of the meditation that he's done and all the spiritual work and why he was so spiritually adept and this and that and everything. And meanwhile, the master is just sort of waiting for him to wear himself down and to come and to become more present. So he listened probably 15, 20 minutes. And the master knew that now is the time. And so the master introduced a very off-colored, shaggy joke out of the blue and just laid it on him. And the seeker burst out laughing. The master laughed at the seeker's laugh, and they both laughed together. And when the laughter subsided, the master turned to him and said, "There you are. You just found what you were looking for. You lost yourself." And that's the key. Because what happens in joy, other than we lose ourselves, we lose our serious self, our thinking mind, call it the ego, something is lost. And that brings us joy and freedom and peace and love. When we're not around, all of those qualities exist. But when we step into the picture, then we step in with our conditioning, our beautiful minds, they're fabulous minds, but they're also limiting. So Kabir, I'm going to switch his words around a little bit to suit my talk. But Kabir talks about, he said, when I was looking for joy, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. When joy was found, I wasn't around. You see, joy and I can't exist together. And the I he's referring to is the thinking, rational mind. When we lose that thinking, rational mind, when it goes offline for a little while, what's left is being. What's left is presence. And what's left is that open door to all the emotions. But when I'm around, I am the guardian or try to be in control of my emotions. I have been taught, don't be so emotional. Don't be too loud. Be respectful. This is all a habit, and it's a deep habit we've learned as children. And so now it's time today not to dismiss that, but to bring that along because it's important too. Every one of our experiences has brought us to this point now. So it's not to reject it, but to include it and hold it so lightly. So lightly. I'm going to tell the story of the cat. Go figure. Huh? The story of the cat, this was a Zen cat. And the cat was a very serious cat. And he was obviously seeking and been seeking for many, many years. And he lived outside the temple. So he was considered a temple cat and would meditate in the tree and overlook the temple yard and would watch all the monks doing all their things. So he was talking with the rat one day, and the rat said, have you found what you're looking for? And he says, no. And he says, rat, I don't know what it is. I just seem to be missing it. And the rat said, I know of a place in the forest, tall, tall tree, very spiritual tree. If you find the tree, you sit in there, it's going to happen. I promise you. The cat says, okay, good, I'm going. So the cat takes off, goes on this hero's journey into the woods, the dark woods. And all these trials and tribulations, and gets to the beginning of the densest of the dark forests. And he's a little scared, but he's serious and he's going to make it. So he's doing it. And then he spies this little kitten playing. The little kitten says, hi, want to play? The cat says, no, I have no time. I'm on a journey. Well, I can see you're on a journey, but do you want to play? No, I have no time for play. What you searching for? I can't explain it to you. I don't have the time. The little kitten said, you want to be friends? No, I do not want to be friends. I'm on my way. Now, you and I have never done that, where we have dismissed something that was perhaps good for us, but we were on a journey. We were on a mission. I am so guilty of that. So the cat proceeds, finds the tree, so excited, climbs up in the tree, sits down, curls his tail around. He's ready to meditate. nothing. Nothing is happening. He's expecting something to happen, but nothing is happening. Oh, man. Maybe I have to clear my mind a little better. So he's really trying to clear his mind. It's not working. Nothing's happening. And then he hears a noise and he hears a whee, bam. And he's hit by the kitten who has followed him, climbed a tree, and had fallen down, accidentally hitting him, knocking them both down to the ground. Kaboom! They're on the ground in the leaves. Now the cat is pissed, really pissed. Pulls his claws out with teeth and says, "Yeah, how dare you destroy my meditation? How you disturbed me." And the little kitten's going, "You want to play?" No. And the little kitten just back and forth looking with this innocence, no fear, just this tenderness, availability. No argument, no fight, just this spacious presence. And the cat, something happens. The trance is broken. What the cat was looking for and didn't know it was to break the trance of seriousness. The kitten was not serious. The kitten was the master. And in that moment, something arose in the cat, and that was the cat smiled for the first time since he was a kitten. Something came over his whole being, and he was awake to the moment for the first time since he was a kitten, but didn't realize it as a kitten. We have to lose it to realize how precious it is. I love this story because it's the story of enlightenment. And it's only that simple. Only that simple is when we break the trance. And so doesn't mean we won't go back to sleep again, but in that moment, there it was right before him. So simple, so innocent, so easy. The little kitten says, "You want to be friends?" The cat said, "Yes, it would be an honor to be your friend." So it goes back to, where is the joy? How do we lose the joy? Well, we become serious. We listen to our thoughts. And sometimes our thoughts are really good, and sometimes they're very damaging. So it's important that we know and be able to distinguish between thoughts that support us and thoughts that don't. And I'm going to conclude with 4 little tidbits here. And you're going to pick one of these that perhaps you could practice. Perhaps you could practice and include this in your life. All 4 of these are very easy. You don't have to remember all 4. Just focus on one, and you'll know the right one for you. And the first one is, take time to play. Just to simply play. You might have to schedule it, but do something that brings a grin to your face, something that used to bring you joy, perhaps doesn't bring you joy, but you could find something that perhaps could bring you joy today. But find something that puts the smile, like on the cat, the smile back on your face. That would be one of them. Number 2 is just being kind. Look for opportunities to be kind or helpful. For me, sometimes it's helping somebody load at the Home Depot, or whenever I come across a situation where I can do something, I delight in doing it. So looking for some way to be kind. The third one would be hanging out with friends who are positive, who support you, uplift you, who tell you that, it's not so bad. I bet you can do it. Here, let's help. Let's do this. Someone that's encouraging. And the fourth one is being kind to yourself, perhaps the toughest one, taking good care of yourself. That means sleep, diet, exercise, whatever it takes for you to be kind to yourself and to support yourself. So those are the four things quickly. Play, um, play, being kind, hanging out with supportive friends, and the last one is being kind to yourself. You know which one of those might be the most difficult thing to do. That might be an indication of where you might want to look at increasing your joy quotient. So let's take all of this into just a brief prayer to anchor what's been said today. As we take a breath together and taking in the breath of gratitude for the gift that has already been given, the gift of this life, of this body, the gift of the consciousness that is hearing these words, the gift of the conditioned mind that is also hearing these words, and that also that part of you that has never been touched by mind. And so I speak a word, speaking to that inner spirit within you, honoring that spirit that recognizes these words today, that embraces these words today of being non-serious, non-attached, and rich in enjoyment. And so I call forth these qualities. I expand them and I move them into the conscious mind. And in the conscious mind, it accepts the fact of play, of kindness, of love, of joy, of non-attachment. And so with that, we move into this very day where all of this is available right now. It was never, never disguised. But now that the trance is broken, we can all move forward so easily and so gently. So for this and the more, I am so grateful. We are blessed simply by being alive. And so it is.